everybody, the wait is over. We were in Huntsville, Alabama last week to get a sneak peek on the Dunlop MX34. Well, the wait is over. It is here. It's going to be in your dealerships any moment now. Dunlop came out to Los Angeles County Raceway, LACR in Palmdale, California to let us all, media guys over here, ride this tire. So I may or may not have been riding with this tire for about a couple weeks now. So I've been to a few different tracks. Haven't been to LACR with it yet, but we're going to talk about the tire, its new construction, its new design, and what I think is best for you guys out there, and which compound I think in what condition is best for you guys out there as well. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about the tire, break down a couple different opinions, and let you know on the new Dunlop offering. Stay tuned. Wrapped it up here at LACR today with the Dunlop MX34 intro. Thanks to the Dunlop guys for having us. Like I said on the top of this show, I have been riding this tire for a little bit. Several different types of tracks. For me, I was looking for a better soft to intermediate offering from Dunlop. Some of you guys know I'm not a huge fan of the MX33. I was more on the Dunlop MX3S side of things for the front tire. I am a front end steering rider, so I like to have a lot of feeling in my front tire, and I am happy to say the MX34 is way better in that direction. So compared to the MX33, I have more lean angle traction, I have better bump absorption, and then for me, I have more control on the side knobs of the tires if you're making long sweepers, as you can see in some of these videos. I just feel like I have more tire contact patch, and you actually have to run this tire PSI up more than the MX33. The MX33 was about 12.5 PSI. This is a 13.5 PSI to 14 PSI rating. So that tells me the carcass is a little bit friendlier on the lean angle, so that's why you're bringing the pressure up. So just initially, right out of the box, you guys are going to notice better bump absorption right when you slap down off of a jump, or if you come up short, there is more comfort within this tire and the blend of technology that they have, because the knobby as well as the carcass is brand new to Dunlop, so that is nice. And for me, I wasn't a huge stickler with the rear of the tire. The MX33 was actually pretty good, but for me, the 34 actually has better braking, a little bit more traction under braking, as well as bump absorption. So Eddie, you know how I am. You work on a lot of my bikes. Eddie does a lot of our work on our motorcycles, our test bikes, does a lot of stuff for my son Aden. So I'm kind of a pain in the ass when it comes to front tires. So how do you like these tires?
Yeah, so I'm on a Honda. So I'm on the 23 Honda, which can be a little bit of a more aggressive.
Stiff.
Yeah, but I mean, let's talk about the steering characteristics of the bike. It's more aggressive, right? It's a little more twitchy. So when I started doing that, Kris was like, hey, 3S, try 3S. So I tried it, and I felt with the Honda, because it was had a lot more aggressive front end, that the 3S was a little too much of a tire. So I always kind of, for my comfort, vet, B rider, I always kind of steered to the 33, because I felt like it kind of lean angle and everything would kind of mellow the front of the bike out a little bit.
Wasn't so sharp.
Wasn't so sharp, but some of the tracks, you'll see in the video here, obviously that's not a case, there's nothing tight here, it's open flowing track, but some of the tighter tracks that we would go to, I felt like the 33 was just lacking just a little bit. Like a little bit of vague. Yeah, feel. I'm like, man, if I could just get like 50% of the 3S, I would be happy. So, this came up, the 34 came up, and that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, whoa, there's that happy medium. Again, we're on a super open flowing track, so it was like, is it going to be too much? Is the bike going to want to oversteer? Is your lean angle going to be very aggressive? And it's not. It's like fits right in the middle. It's closer, in my personal preference, it's closer to the 3S than the 33, but it's not a 3S. Yeah. You can still go with a 3S if you're looking for more on whatever chassis you're on. So front end, I feel, I feel like it's in the right direction for the Honda chassis for a vetish level guy. Maybe doesn't have crazy corner speed. It helps the bike get into area 1 and 2 with the lean angle traction.
And for me, like, just to go piggyback off what Eddie said, when you look at the tires, when I first saw the MX34 design, I was like, oh boy, it didn't look aggressive enough for me. So I was really worried about lean angle traction. And then I rode with them, and it really opened my eyes. So I was in Alabama for a day. I got to ride with these, and it was like a tacky topsoil with loose underneath, like hard pack. It kind of reminded me of some Washington dirt where it's really shiny in some areas. And the 34 front was really good on that lean angle coming into the corner, which I really like. Also, for me, I've never tried a 120/90/19. I take that back. I haven't tried it on this new generation Yamaha. So I tried 120/90/19 on the old generation Yamaha, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, so I ran an 80. But for you Yamaha owners out there, I feel like I'm a little low in the rear on this bike. So having that 90, having an extra, a little taller of a tire, as well as more cushion, I preferred it, and it really helped my front end cornering feel running a 120/90. So that might be an option. They do have those sizes for you in the MX34, but it's just a better direction. I've been guilty of this in the past, of going to these tire intros and then just jumping the gun too quick. Yeah, man, it's better. You guys should get it. Well, I had some time on the tire. It's not just today. So, and I feel like for sure, 100%, this is a better direction for Dunlop than the MX33, especially the front tire. So these will be out sometime in May to all the dealerships out there. You can get that. But a Vet B guy, you're pretty picky, and you're pretty vocal about this. And anything about the rear tire that you could be an advantage for you out there on LACR versus the 33?
Yeah, so once I dissected the front and the first couple times I rode as the track kind of evolved and got a little broke in, I tried to result to the rear of the bike, like, you know, where am I going to find the advantage from the 33 to the 34? And I'm going to be completely honest, because that's what I do. Nothing really jumped out to me like, wow, the rear had, again, in the video, you're going to see this track's very flat. It's not ripped. It's hard packed. It's got big flowing berms, so it's not like there's a lot of deep braking and bumps, diving into deep ruts and getting
on
out.
And off the throttle.
Yeah, it's very smooth, just kind of flow around the track. So nothing really like carte blanche to me on the rear.
Yeah.
But again, I'm more finicky on the front of the motorcycle than the rear.
The older we get, and you guys watching this, we're more front end steering riders. You want that front end to bite to make it turn. We're not drifting Ryan Villapoto style in 2012 and 14. Where
complete rear steer guy.
Yeah, so for me, the front tire is important for us older guys with money. Now, is it worth going over the MX3S? Right now, I'm going to say yes. For me, just the control of the front tire. Especially when I'm trying to line myself up in some ruts. So I went to another track that had ruts across the face of a jump, and there was a single into the face of another jump. And the front tire settles into those pockets much better than the 3S. The 3S would always want to hunt and peck, search, and then get in. With the 34, it settled in, it found the rut, and there was no issues with me. So I could just stay on the throttle without trying to hunt for a line that I didn't know was there. So for me, just for the simple fact of control, I like the 34 better. So when it comes out, you might want to give it a try. The price increase is 5%, is what they told us today. We can talk about weights. You can go to keeferinctesting.com. I'm going to talk about the weight of the tire. The rear is a little bit heavier. The 80, the 120/80/19 is a little bit heavier than the MX33. The 120/90/19 is actually lighter than the 80. I don't know how that happens, but that's how it happened, and that's what they told us.
Yeah, also, too, they were real adamant, just because we're running a little heavier pressure in the front, 13.5 to 14 is what we've been playing with out here, you're still 12.5 in the rear.
Yeah.
So don't match the combo. You'll get yourself lost. So super light front tires, so they want to see a heavier pressure up front, but still 12.5 in the rear.
And the front tire is slightly heavier than the MX33, but still It's fairly light, and for me, I'm not a big stickler with the weight. As long as I have lean angle traction, I'm fine with it. So for me, they went to the step in the right direction. I like that. If you have any questions, Kris at KeeferInkTesting.com. You can hit me up. You can talk about the tires. I'll answer what I can for you. And of course, look for some more durability, longevity tests over on my website. We'll talk about that. And don't forget, I have a podcast, Rocky Mountain ATVMC Show, and we just did an hour-long show about these tires. So you can check that out over on iTunes or anywhere where you get your podcast. And don't forget, RacerX has a publication, 12 issues, $30. Get yourself some. You subscribe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he can still work for me then.
Yep.
These are good.
Yeah, I think they're one of the few that are left still
That's
doing
right.
the magazines.
That's
but
right. All right, we'll see you on the next one.